We had a wonderful meal catered by one of our local Italian restaurants, lots of snacks and desserts. We actually had some breakfast foods in the morning, so they just really spoil us and make us feel appreciated. And oh goodness, Tika's decided she wants to play with her ball, so I apologize. Well, hello and welcome to Michelle's Fiber Studio podcast. My name is Michelle and I am your host. Today is Sunday, November 17th, and this is episode 30 of the podcast. If this is your first time joining, well, I thank you so much for checking me out. And if you are a returning viewer, well, thank you so much for coming back. It is a gorgeous sunny day in the mid-50s. It's actually really quite pleasant for the middle of November. We've had a really beautiful weekend. I apologize for lack of an episode last week. I started in with a cold last weekend and I was down and out for the count, and I decided that the best course of action for me was to just lie low and not do a whole lot. I'm still kind of dealing with the dregs of it a little bit, and a little bit of flumminess, but hopefully I will be able to get through this with a minimal amount of interruptions. So with that being 2 weeks, I have lots and lots of project updates to give you. Before I do, real quickly, I do want to talk about my sweater. Is the Marmoset Pullover. It is by Danae Williams. The yarn I used was is by Knit Picks. It's their Stroll Effects in Poppy Field. It has this fun, ooh yeah, sun, I didn't close that shade. It has this fun kind of laciness on the top as well as on the sleeves. And I knit this back in June. I started it June of 2021 and I didn't complete it until June of 2022. Again, took me a year, but probably more for lack of picking it up than anything else. Marta, on the other hand, is sporting a cowl. That is my Arctic Doodle cowl by Jamie Lomax. You have probably seen the doodles that Jamie has put out. This is a pattern where you can mix and match the different color work motifs. I'll actually pull this one off of Marta and kind of give you a nice view of it. I did the Infinity Cowl, which means it is a double thick cowl, and it has these fun winter motifs. Actually, if I go this way, then they won't be upside down. So you got penguin. I'm trying not to hold it too close because if I do, then the sun streams on it and you lose the view of it. I got the cats and some snowflakes and just fun little, I don't know, what is that? Oh, I think it's a reindeer. And trees. The yarn is by Moonglow Yarn. It is the Merino DK, and it was a kit that was called Polar Nights. So I got this last November. I ordered the kit. I cast the cowl on January 13th, and I completed it in February 12th. So it took me just about a month to do this. It was a lot of fun. It really put a strain on my arm though. If you recall, off and on all summer long, I talked about my arm, and I think this was the first trigger because it was really heavy on my needles, and I had to do a lot of pushing because of the color work and I don't know if I was just knitting it too tightly or what, but it took a lot of work to move it around. Of course, doing it on a circular needle as well. So that was, it was quite heavy on the needle. So by the time I was done, so you knit, like I would start, say here, and I would knit the motif, double knitting all the way around, and then I grafted it together. So it's one continuous tube of knitting. So anyway, it's really warm, really thick. It actually warmed up. We had a fairly mild spring, so I didn't really have a huge opportunity to wear it. So I'm really looking forward to making some use of that, this winter. pulled the shade down. Hopefully, see, I can move back and forth now, and I don't have the sun coming into my eyes. So hopefully that will keep the lighting a little bit more consistent for us. Let's dive right in. I don't have any projects on my blocking board. Lots and lots to talk about in my project bag. So I have them listed in my document here, but I'm really gonna jump around kind of whatever suits my fancy. Let's start with my Stephen West Make Along shawl. We are a couple of weeks out. I am most probably about halfway through. Yes, I'm about halfway through Clue 4. That's your brief warning. I'm really not going to worry about it too much because at this point you probably have been spoiled. If you're still managing to avoid spoilers, well, good for you. But we're a couple weeks out from the end of the project. So this is where I am at, picking away at it. So the beginning of Clue 4 was this part down here. I can't tell if you're seeing it. I'm hoping you are. And so you picked up along the semicircles here, and then you did rows. I know it's kind of all bundled up because it's on my needles, but you did rows of bobbles, followed by some slit stitching and some more bobbles all the way down, and then it decreased down to the very bottom. So I finally finished that last week, and then I am opting to do the optional border, which is back up at the top. You picked up stitches along the triangles, and I am doing some more rows that kind of mirror the circles on the bottom. So I've done the rows here in my contrast color, and then my main color, and I've just started back in with my contrast color. I think there are, is it 6 rows in all? At this point though, I'm working over like 600 stitches. So these are really, really long rows, because not only did you pick up along each of the triangles, but as you did in the middle of each of the main color ones, you did a bunch of yarn overs. So it just really increased that section. So I'm picking away at it. I'm in no real hurry, although I would really like to get it off the needles maybe by the end of the month. That might be my goal, is to finish it in the next couple of weeks. I should be able to do that. So that is that project. It's big, it's beautiful, it's taking up a lot of space in my project bag next to my rocking chair. So hopefully I can get that moved along. How about my Musselburgh? I'll give you a really quick peek and update on that one. I got a fair amount done in the last couple of weeks, which again is a good thing. I don't remember it ever feeling this small, but I think it is feeling like it's growing somewhat as it's lengthening, and it's only because it's bunched up on the needles. But where's my marker? There we go. That's what I got done in the last 2 weeks. So this is moving along. It's gonna probably move into the forefront here if I don't get a whole lot done soon, because again, it is a Christmas gift. The yarn is one of my Yarnables yarns in Frosty Fox, and it was my December of 2023 colorway. So I'm gonna keep plugging away at this. As a side note, I this week ended up outside doing car pickup duty, and I wore the Musselburgh that I finished for myself, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, it was so warm and so cozy. I kind of want to knit a second one, because my plan was to leave that one at school and then to just bring it back and forth if I felt like I was gonna need a hat at home, because I don't tend to wear them at home unless I'm planning to be outside for anything. But I might knit a second one that I can have at home, because I really, really liked it. So, and I think my other son wants one too. So I think I got a couple more Musselburghs in my future. So that is that project. All right, let's switch gears to some crochet, shall we? And I have my Northeasterly Blanket. This is my mystery blanket from Woolen Woman Fibers, and I am moving slowly along. I'm actually in the middle of a color here, but I'm almost halfway, I think. How many colors do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not quite halfway because there were 12 colors. I really should be done by the 25th in order to qualify for any drawings. So I gotta get crack-a-lackin', and it takes me maybe half an hour or so to do a color. I feel like, yeah, that's the color that's still joined. So I'm almost done with this color, but you can see. So there is one color. Here is another color. It's kind of curling up. This one here, I like this one a lot. And then the green. And the original purple. So this has been fun. This has been a fun little diversion. I'm gonna end up doing, I haven't fully decided. I think my plan at this point is to mostly work through the 12 colors. When I get maybe to 10 colors or so, I am gonna measure and see how tall it is, because I have a certain width that I want. These are coming out about 3.5 inches wide. If I remember in my notes to get to the width that I wanted, like if I did one column for each month, then it was gonna be about 40 inches wide, right? 3.5 times 12 is 36, so 42 inches wide. I was kind of hoping for it to be a little bit wider and a little bit taller, but I don't know that I'm gonna have enough yarn. So we're gonna see if around 10 colors or so, measure it and see if the length is long enough, then I might shift to the second column so that maybe I can squeeze an extra column or two out of the batch of yarn. So that's where this one's at. I am crocheting with did I make a note? I did not make a note. I think I'm using an H hook. I know that I had started it and then I ripped it out and restarted it with a bigger hook, and now I don't remember what hook I'm using. Oh, it's in my bag here. Oh, here it is. Yep, I'm using an H hook, a 5mm hook. So that is my Northeasterly blanket. It is by Katy Stevens, is the designer. So I think I will continue along the crocheting vein because I have started another one of my Color Wave drawstring bags. These were gifts, or will be gifts, for my nieces for Christmas. So that's where I am at. This is only the second one. My original goal and plan was to do 6 of these because I have 6 nieces. I'm starting to amend this plan because I don't want to be doing these like non-stop between now and Christmas, and that's pretty much I think where I would land if I'm gonna get the other 4 done. So I might do this one and stop and give them to the 2 youngest. I might do a 3rd one and then include the 3 youngest. I haven't fully decided, but I'm guessing that I only have maybe 1 more in my future, but that's okay. It was a grand idea. I still have enough yarn to do at least the 1 more anyway, so I decided on this one to do the buttercup as my kind of main color instead of the browns. I thought that would be kind of fun. So I am using Hobby Lobby. I love this cotton. This is the rosy colorway. And then I am using amethyst, right? Is that amethyst? Yeah. So amethyst. And this is aspen, and the yellow is buttercup. So those are the 4 colors for this. I have, let's see, I'm on the 3rd color. There is another row above it in the amethyst, and then there's the top is done in the buttercup again, where it kind of cinches it in. It adds in the eyelets for the strap and the drawstring, and then I will have the drawstring to do the it's like a closure, if I recall correctly, something of that nature, and then the strap that you can actually wear it with as well. So maybe next week, maybe if I keep pushing and trucking away, and then we'll see where we land. So that is that project. Okay, next, I touched pretty much everything that I've had in ongoing whips in the last 2 weeks. I took out my Longline cardigan, my long lost Longline cardigan, huh? It's been a hot minute. I kind of got distracted by some things. So let's see, I didn't do a ton. My marker here is where I was. So I've done, you know, a few rows. You can see I've only got a few rows beyond the armhole. Peekaboo. Yeah, but I needed something simple, and this is really just going back and forth, so I gotta remember that. I kind of had forgotten that that's the point I was at, or I might have pulled it out every so often. I brought it with me to Bible study this last week, and it worked out really great for that. So I'm still not convinced that the collar isn't too big, but I need to get a little bit more done before I can really like try it on and kind of get a feel for how that collar is gonna lay against me. If I decide the collar is too big, then it's gonna get ripped out, which sounds really I don't wanna say heartless, but cold and calculated, I guess. But there's no point in me knitting it if I'm just gonna hate the collar. And unfortunately the collar was the very first thing that was made. So if I decide it has to go, then the whole thing has to go. And then we'll reevaluate and decide what we do. So I am using some yarn that I've had for quite some time in my stash. It is by Schackenmeyer. It is their Regia Premium Bamboo. And it's some yarn that I had picked up from my local yarn store before they closed in the colorway number 93. So it's a gray. It is a bamboo wool blend. Wool, viscose, and polyamide, and one of those is bamboo. And I think the viscose is bamboo. And then a polyamide. So it's a blend. Yeah, I have in my notes. Wool, bamboo, and nylon blend. So that is my Longline cardigan. It's by Locatelli. Forgot to mention that at the outset. Take a week off from podcasting and I'm all out of practice. And so we will see where that one takes me. All right, and the last one. I told you I had a lot of updates. How long has it been? Where is my timer? Yeah, 17 minutes. It's been a while. So I saved this one for last because I have some sad news on this one. This is my Dress It Up Shawl by Lisa K. Ross of Paper Daisy Creations. It's my fall shawl, which is really pretty, but I've decided I really don't like it. I don't like that this lacy section, which is really what is going to end up taking center stage in the shawl, is the burgundy. When I bought this yarn, I saw this fall colored skein first, and that is what I selected, and then I got the burgundy to go with it as an accent. And I don't like that this is turning into the accent instead of the main color. So I'm gonna rip it out and reknit it. I may or may not reknit the same pattern. And at this point, I'm definitely not gonna do it until next summer. I'm not even gonna worry about it. It is what it is. But let me talk about the yarn before I pull it all out. So the yarn is by Fiber Stash Dye Works. I had gotten it at our spa event in Freeport, Maine last winter. So the fall color, the multicolored one, is all the fall. And then the burgundy is Cora Crawley. So those are my two colors. And I love them both. I just really want this to be more of my main color with a little bit less of the burgundy. So out it's gonna come. That said, I am not actually going to rip it out yet because I am in a Christmas program at the center where I did the Broadway show this past fall. And in one of the numbers that I am in, I and another individual are singing together. We're playing a mother and a father with a couple of kids. We're still gonna be sitting by, like, on the couch by the fireplace, and as we're singing and things are going on, I thought it'd be nice for me to have some knitting to work on. So this is gonna be my knitting, because it's gonna be something that I can just knit back and forth without any fear. Like, if it gets messed up, it doesn't matter, because it's gonna get ripped out anyway. And it's big enough that it'll be clear from stage that I'm working on something a little bit larger. Like, I could work on socks, but that's not quite as impressive. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this on the needles for the time being, and after Christmas I will tear it out. So that, you know, sometimes we have to reassess these projects, right? It's sad, but I had a good time knitting it up until this point, but it's really not bringing me joy anymore. And every time I was picking it up to work on it or to look at it, I'm like, I really don't like the amount of burgundy in there. It's just too much. And I could have kept charging ahead, which is kind of how I got to this point, because I think if you go back to my podcast episodes back in September, I started mentioning that pretty early on, and I was a little concerned about that. And I didn't do anything about it. And now I have all of this knitting that is gonna get ripped out because I didn't listen to that little voice way back when I should have. So it's okay, it's not a big deal. I'm more of a process knitter than a product knitter anyway. So there you have it. Dreams. So I have another project that I am considering. Don't we all always have projects kind of in our mind? This was another Instagram kind of find, except on Instagram what I saw was a completed project and it got the wheels spinning in my head. But I have this pattern that I found, and it is a dumpster fire amigurumi, and the one that I saw on Instagram was a little dumpster fire with arms holding a sign that said, emotional support dumpster fire. It's fine, everything's fine. And I was just thinking it would be super fun to crochet up a bunch of those as gifts for some of the staff members at work with whom I work most closely. So that is also another reason why I might want to shift away from doing the bags for the girls. Because I think that would be super fun and something that I want to do for some of the staff. I got, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 of those that I would like to do. Again, we'll see how many. I haven't even started the first one, so I don't know. It might be way too fiddly. I really got to at least do one of the prototypes and see if it's something that I want to continue. But that is the project dreams that I have in my head at this moment in time. All right, for my next segment, I reopened the windows because now it's getting a little dark because the sun's starting to go down. Oh, the joys of fall with the time change in the Northeast. So yeah, I got a bunch of sun. Hopefully the lighting's not too terrible. Anyway, I digress. On my yarn shelf, I have a couple of new acquisitions. They are Advent knitting. I'm very excited. So the first one is from Woolens and Nosh, and it is a Advent sock set. So I can show you this part. This is the mini skein for heels and toes. If I do that, there we go. And cuffs, actually. I think this year it's 30 grams, as I recall. And I will have plenty to do my heels, cuffs, and toes with this color. And then I'm not opening the bag, and you can see I have one here, one yarn there, and one yarn there. And the way that she does her skeins is you cast on your cuff, and then you join in the ball of yarn, and then you knit a stripe, and when you get back to this gray, or this black actually, it's a deep gray or almost a black. When you get back to that color, you stop for the day. And then every day you do a new stripe all the way through. And I did these last year. I had so much fun. And I had a pair of socks by Christmas. I cast them both on, And every day I just knit a little stripe. It took me, I think, 20 minutes to do both socks. Of course, the days where I had to turn the heels and do the heels took a little bit longer, but I was able to work around that and plan accordingly. And it was just so much fun. So I actually ordered one of these last spring for my mom. For Mother's, actually, it was her birthday gift. She turned 70 in February, and I told her in February, when they come out, I'm gonna order you a set, and so we can both do them. When I went to place the order, there was only one left, or at least I was only able to order one more, and when I went to try to order a second one, it was closed. So I don't know if I got the very last one, or if I just was really only able to order one more. But I said, that's okay. She usually puts additional skeins up closer to Christmas, and that's what she did. So these went up on November 1st or 2nd, I think. And she had some short skeins. So instead of it being 100 grams of sock yarn, I opted to go with the 80 grams. I frankly could have gone with a 70-gram skein, especially where I am doing a contrast color. I definitely don't need all 80 grams for my socks. Matter of fact, with my 100-gram skein and the contrast last year, I knit my pair of socks, and then I actually gave the leftovers to my mom, and she knit a whole pair of socks. She had to use a different contrast color, but she knit a whole pair. Because it takes me, I think if I knit a pair of socks straight through and don't use contrast colors, it takes me about 55 or 60 grams of yarn to knit a pair of socks for my size. So 80 grams is definitely gonna be plenty. Cost me a little bit less, and I am very excited. This is her Targhee fingering, so it's a 90-10 superwash Targhee and nylon 3-ply. Yeah, the mini skein is 30 grams, 123 yards. So super fun, can't wait. Gotta get these cast on in the next couple of weeks and get my cuff done. I want both of the cuffs all done before December 1st so that I'm ready to go on December 1st and knit my little stripe. So that is acquisition number 1. Acquisition number 2 is also an Advent set, and this was a last minute impulse purchase. I was scrolling on Instagram. I probably should get off Instagram. How many of my stories have started with, I was scrolling on Instagram, and I saw an update from Brazos Fiberworks that she had a couple of her Advents left. And it is based on the movie The Grinch. And I couldn't resist. So it came this week. I can show you the box because it's nothing really special or spectacular. They're all wrapped up there. It is just the yarn. She didn't have any more of the sets with the goodies, the extras. So that's okay. I just got the yarn, and I think what I'm gonna do, because they're actually all in here jumbled up, it took me a while to find number 1. I think I'm gonna take them out and organize them in a little basket so I have it ready to go and open those up. It is based on the 2018 version of The Grinch. It's the animated version with Benedict Cumberbatch, which is super cute. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's loosely follows The Grinch, but it's got a twist. It's got some twists in it that are a little bit different, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm excited. As I was reading through, I'm like, what colors do you think I could have? I could have greens, of course, for the Grinch. I could have pinks for Cindy Lou Who. I could have brown for Max. I don't know. It's gonna be fun. So I'm pretty excited. I'm looking to see if she tells me what the fiber content is, because I honestly don't recall, and she doesn't list it. So I don't even know what the fiber is. Frankly, don't really care. It's yarn. It's gonna be great. They are 24 mini skeins, and it's just mini skeins. This is not one with an extra skein. That's okay. I have one more that I had actually ordered back in August with all of the goodies. I got the shipment notification on that, and that should be arriving this week. That one is from Fangirl Fiber, and it is based on the movie Beauty and the Beast. So I'm really excited for that one too. I think that one's gonna be a whole lot of fun. I've seen several of her Advents in the past, and I love her colors that I have seen, at least on screen. I've not seen them in person, but watching a few others open a couple years worth of events. I think this one's gonna be a lot of fun. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with either one of them. I kind of have a vague vision of doing the Grinch one into a blanket, so I kind of have a Christmas blanket. What I use for a pattern, I haven't decided, haven't really given it a whole lot more thought. But that is what I have on my yarn shelf for this week. Skip past Yarny Chat this week. I think I'm just gonna dive straight into my day today. It's been a couple of weeks since I podcasted. Fortunately I had made myself some notes last week before I decided that I wasn't gonna podcast, so I do have some reminders because otherwise I don't think I could remember what I have done. Going back a couple of weeks ago, we had one of our parent-teacher conference days, and we had to work all day. We work until 8 o'clock that night, and so the parents have an opportunity to come in and meet. It's a long day, but it's kind of a fun day. Once school gets out, so we dismiss the kids early. It's one of our early release days, so at noon the kids go home, and we have the half an hour for our lunch before the first set of parents start coming in. And I don't have conferences scheduled per se. I certainly make myself available depending on what's going on. To sit in with conferences or to meet with parents as things arise. I actually did end up meeting with a parent that day. I had a different meeting that I had to attend, and it was a good opportunity for me personally to just kind of get caught up on some work that needed to get done. But it's just a fun atmosphere. It's very relaxed. So there's a lot of in between as people are able to kind of get up and out of their classrooms and walk around and stretch a little bit and kind of visit and joke, and it's kind of this collegial atmosphere in the building. Our PTO is fantastic, and they sponsor our dinner. So we had a wonderful meal catered by one of our local Italian restaurants, lots of snacks and desserts. We actually had some breakfast foods in the morning. So they just really spoil us and make us feel appreciated. And oh goodness, Tika's decided she wants to play with her ball, so I apologize. Anyway, it was a great day. It really was. Even though it was a long day, it was kind of a good day. So on the Friday, we took one of our nieces out for her birthday meal. It was a bit delayed. Her birthday was back in September, but September is just really busy with the start of the school year. She's on the soccer team, so trying to mesh our schedules oftentimes does not work so well. So we finally caught up with her. She wanted Thai food, so we went to a local Thai restaurant. It was amazing. It was a really great choice. Had some great food. Did some fun shopping with her, and she picked out a shirt and something else. I don't remember. We went to TJ Maxx. I don't know, is there a TJ Maxx? Is that a store that's by you? I don't know if it's just a regional chain. I know it's a chain. I just don't know if it's a regional or if it goes across the country. But at any rate, we went to TJ Maxx. It's her favorite, and she picked out a few things. So that was fun. I actually got some birthday shopping for another niece. I had her helping me pick out some things that I stumbled across, which is good because that niece's birthday is Christmas Eve, and I don't know how many years I'm shopping for Christmas gifts, and then like a week before Christmas, I'm like, oh, I could get the birthday gift too. So it feels really good to have that birthday gift tucked away and ready to go, and I don't have to stress out about that one. Also on Friday, actually before we took my niece out, I took my friend's little girl. I went and picked her up, and her birthday was this past week, but she had a special hair appointment scheduled so she could get a haircut and get some tinsel put in her hair. And my friend ended up being unavailable and unable to take her, so she asked if I would take her instead. And so they're really close friends. She calls me Aunt Michelle. So it was fun to take her and get her haircut and a little tinsel in her hair. And we had a fun time. Took her to Dunkin' Donuts, got a donut afterwards on the ride home. So it was good. It made for a really busy day because I headed to work and I worked all day, and I left work. I had about 20 minutes at home, and then I had to run over and grab her from her school, take her to her hair appointment, bring her back home, and I had about 15 minutes. And then my niece showed up and we took her out to dinner, and finished up. I got back home. It was like 9 o'clock and I'm finally stopping for the day. So, but it was fun. It was a good day. And then last week was really mostly quiet. I tried to lay pretty low because I got that cold. Saturday morning, I woke up with a bit of a sore throat. By Sunday morning, I didn't have a voice. By Sunday night, it had dropped into my chest. And I was starting to develop a little bit of a cough. So Monday on Veterans Day, I had the day off at least. And I spent Sunday and Monday last weekend pretty much not moving out of my rocking chair, knitting, sleeping, drinking lots of fluids. Yeah, Tuesday night we had our first rehearsal for our Christmas program. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We had 4 or 5 different numbers that there's a lot of the cast is in, so we did a lot of the group pieces. I had actually had a practice. I guess I should qualify that. On Saturday I'd had before, as I'm getting a sore throat, I had had a practice for one of the numbers that I'm in my solo, but the Tuesday was our first big group practice. So that was super fun. It's a little bit more laid back than the Broadway production that we did. And this is the 3rd year that I am in this production, and I look forward to it every year. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's a good way to kind of, I guess I can't say end the Christmas season because we are performing, it is the weekend before Christmas is when it is going to happen. So, but it's just fun. It makes for a busy December, but a fun December. So that is what I have this week for you. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button to like it. And you can also subscribe to the channel so that you will know when I have updated any new videos. I will have links to everything that I have talked about down below in the show notes. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic week and happy knitting.